Okay, I'm back. I know I'm a little bit late. I had my birthday weekend this past weekend, so I was really busy with stuff like that. Plus, I just started my new job, and so schedule changes, plus birthday activities, plus a lot of just different things kind of prevented me from being able to record when I usually record. So I kind of had to find special times. I live in a basement, and so if anyone is upstairs walking around, it makes it hard to record. So I have to kind of wait for people to either be asleep or not be home or whatever. Makes recording complicated, but that's beside the point. I want to talk about the anime that we watched this week, which was I to Kusabi, which is this the sci-fi and yaoi kind of hybrid, a little bit dystopian OVA from the 90s. And what it's about is basically it's this sci-fi universe of some kind. There's not a ton explained. It seems like it takes place in our galaxy or the solar system that we're probably familiar with. But it has this twist where it seems that most of the society is comprised of men and male relationships are very common. And there's also kind of a wealth disparity where there are these slums and these people that live on the streets or in gangs that are considered these mongrels, as they call them. And then there's the elite class, which they call blondies, which it seems like they just get from having blonde hair, which is kind of interesting. It's just a simple status thing that makes these people elites. And these people can also have pets. These blondies have pets, and those pets are basically just sex slaves. And it really gets kind of revealed how serious these pet relationships are as it goes along, because what the story is about is this main character Riki, who is a gang leader that ends up also becoming a pet for a blondie. And so it's tagged as yaoi, and so a lot of people will go into it just thinking it's a yaoi. And so if that's not your thing, you're just gonna be like, I don't want to watch a yaoi. I don't like this boys love thing. And in their defense, there's like a couple like sex scenes, but they're really tame. They're really just to show just that these sex scenes happen and kind of the emotions that are experienced by the characters in these scenes. And so they are valuable to the plot. But where it kind of heads in this direction is actually it should be noted that there are women in this universe, though kind of their existence isn't really explained, and it seems that they just are of a lower quantity than men, which might be why men tend to take other men as pets more commonly in this universe, because there are less women. It would be interesting to see kind of what role women take in this universe or in these societies as pets, as other members of society. So it'd be interesting to see that dynamic, but it's not really explored here. It's more about the men. So it's basically the gang, and they have like a new member while Riki was off doing something because I think he was a pet at that time. The plot is a little kind of confusing and convoluted and kind of hard to make sense between like what happened chronologically. That could just be me. It could be the way it is, but for me, it was kind of hard to interpret sometimes, like the chronological order of things and what characters were doing at certain times, even though it is a small cast. But overall, he becomes a slave. The gang gets a new member, and then that new member ends up being tricked by some of the elite class to just destroy the gang or to have the blondie remind Riki that he's still his pet. It seems very petty. A lot of the things that happen doesn't seem to be a lot of weight to it, but nonetheless, this relationship is still kind of talked about a lot, and it's constant reminders for Riki that he's still a pet, he's still a pet, he's still a pet. And I think that's really interesting because it's really just showing in at least this particular relationship that the pets, although they can be given freedom and can be let to do whatever they want, they are still just pets. And that ends up being revealed later because Riki has a specific ring, a specific type of ring. It's a cock ring. that he has that he always wears to signify that he's a pet. And when he's taking it off, he has freedom, but when he puts it back on, he's a pet. And it's weird that they, like, how they control it. Kind of strange, like, the dynamic. But it's really that Riki is kind of just a nympho in that he is very sensitive to sexual contact. And so the Blondie just knows how to manipulate him sexually and just give him, I guess, the best sex that he can have. And he's so weak to it that he just succumbs. And although he's usually a tough, hardened guy when he has his freedom, when he's wearing that cock ring, he kind of can't help himself. So the way it goes, it has this, and then alongside it, it just got this kind of subplot about the gang getting taken over, or maybe not a subplot, but a plot that runs alongside that. There's the gang is getting taken over, and they're getting shut down, and there's action. And it's funny because there's decent action scenes, and everything is animated pretty well. The character designs are hit or miss, or maybe they don't appeal exactly to what I like in a character design, but they're fine. And everything looks good, and there's good animation, and there's good fight scenes. And so it keeps my attention as I watch it. But at the same time, I'm just sitting there trying to piece together kind of what's happening, because if it's sounding like I'm not really getting a full grasp on the plot, it's because I really didn't. And like I said, that could be a fault of mine, but hey, from the experience of watching it, it really didn't seem like if I went back and watched it again, like I would really get a ton more than what I think I got. So that's really, I don't have a ton to say about this other than, I mean, it's tagged as a yaoi, like I said, but don't go into something like this thinking that you're just going to see a bunch of guys fucking the whole time, because that's not what it is. They do comment kind of on this relationship, at least in this society, a little bit. It's not super deep with the political or gender or sexuality awareness or the world building, but it's interesting enough. It's kind of a quick little 2-hour kind of thought piece. It allows you to expand on those ideas a little bit more without digging too deep into them themselves. So I'd say it's an all right watch. It's kind of like a light recommendation, really. If it seems like it'd be something that you'd be interested in, like you're kind of into that idea of like these gay relationships in a society where it seems like gay relationships are valued a lot more than heterosexual ones, heterosexual ones, without diving too deep. It gives a lot for you to think about without kind of having a lot of other ideology forced upon you. But that's really it. Next time we're doing this, and I'm saying time because I don't want to say date, because although this is coming out on a Wednesday, I don't want to say for sure that the next one's coming out on Friday, even though it should. It should be coming out on a Friday, but I can't say for certain that it will, just because I've been shaky this past time. I don't want to make any solid decisions, but it should be coming out on Friday, and I hope to see you there. If not, I will see you in the next one at all. Peace out.